Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Notables presentation on Chris Argyris and double loop learning.
Hello everyone, my name is Fahad Al-Katani, and in the next two slides I'll be talking about the life and education of Chris Argyris and his notable contributions. Argyris was born in Newark, New Jersey in July 16, 1923 and passed away in November 16, 2013. He was a Greek business theorist, professor emeritus at Harvard Business School. In 1947, Argyris obtained his first degree from Clark University. In 1949, Argyris joined the Kansas University, where he obtained his Master of Science in Psychology and Economics. In 1951, Argyris received his PhD from Cornell University with a thesis on the organizational behavior. Moreover, Argyris received an honorary Doctor of Laws degree from the University of Toronto in 2006 and a Doctor of Science award from Yale University in 2011. In a career that spanned more than 50 years, Argyris played a unique pioneering role in the development of our understanding of individuals, organizations, learning, and change. The bulk of Argyris' work appears in books rather than journal articles. Personality and Organization. It was published in 1957, 6 years after Argyris completed his PhD. It was the work that first put him on the scholarly map. It was one of the earliest efforts to develop a theoretical framework for the emerging field of organizational behavior. Most of this book focuses on the question of why people behave the way they do in organizations. His central theme was that there was a basic conflict between human personality and prevailing management practice. Interpersonal Competence and Organizational Effectiveness was published in 1962. In this book, Argyris briefly returns to the theme of conflict between individual and organization, but argues that the conflict can be leveraged for growth. He added that how to do this is different at the top and bottom of organizations because lower level workers have little control over their conditions of work. Changes in the socio-technical environment are needed, but at executive level, where individuals have a high control over their work environment, it's essential to intervene at the interpersonal level. Theories of actions, including espoused theory and theory in use. In 1974, Chris Argyris and Donald Schoen suggest that individuals and organizations maintain theories of action that they have developed about and for themselves. Theory of action typically include an espoused theory, which are those that an individual claims to follow, and theories in use are those that can be inferred from action. For example, if you ask a manager how they handle conflict, they may say that they get the relevant people to talk it out. This is their espoused theory. However, you may observe that in practice they resolve conflict by drawing on formal authority. This shows the theory in use. The manager are not being deceitful when they say they encourage people to get together to talk. Rather, they are unaware of their actual behavior. Organizational learning. In their next book together, Organizational Learning in 1978, Argyris and Schoen built an organizational superstructure atop their theory of action conceptual model. It can be summarized in the following propositions. First, organizational learning involves the detection and correction of error. Second, single loop learning enables an organization to continue current activities and achieve existing goals, while double loop learning enables an organization to change its underlying norms, policies, and objectives. Single and double loop learning will be covered in more details in the following slides. Finally, most organizations are good at single loop learning but poor at double loop learning because they have an effective learning system.
Hi, I am Abigail Hauser, and we are going to be going over single loop learning. So single loop learning was a theory that is based on a theory of action. It is a kind of organizational process. It's where people, organizations, and groups change their actions or their behaviors to have a different expected or reached outcome. So an expected outcome is what they hope to happen or what they expect to take place. And then the reached outcome is what actually happens. And then based off of that reached outcome, then you can go back and you can make changes to your behavior to get a different outcome. If you look at the graphic in the lower right-hand corner, you can see this just single loop of actions to the results, circling back around to the actions. So you can change your actions based on the results that you get. So actions and results are the two aspects of single loop learning. There are some issues with this type of learning. So a big issue is that it's really only removing the symptoms rather than the actual root causes. This isn't really going to be beneficial because we don't know what causes are occurring or what causes are happening to present this result. So basically, you are only assuming the problems in their solutions are close to each other in time and space, and this isn't really going to lead to change in the future with future problems. Also, it can lead to an increase in control. So under these conditions, administrators or the people in charge can often become frustrated because of the ineffectiveness of decision making, and then they can react by trying to increase control and basically changing just little behaviors just to make the outcome better right then and there. And then this is also not a way to help us actually make changes. It rather just helps us to avoid mistakes. So it's very surface level type of learning. You're not actually diving deep into what the issue is. And we're going to go more into double loop learning in the next slide, and that's where you'll kind of see how you can fix those root causes and really improve your learning in a deeper way.
Hello, everyone. My name is Matt Fritzius, and I'm going to talk to you about what double loop learning is. So for Argyris, learning occurs under two different conditions. First, learning occurs when an organization achieves what it intends to achieve, meaning there's a match between the design for action and the outcome. The second condition from learning is when there's a mismatch between the intentions and the outcomes that is identified and then corrected. You turn a mismatch into a match. So for double loop learning, this happens when mismatches are corrected by examining and altering the governing variables of the actions. And when we're talking about these governing variables, not referring to the underlying beliefs or the values that are espoused and expressed by an organization, but we're talking about the variables that can be inferred by observing the actions of the individuals that are operating as agents within the organization, and really looking at what drives and guides these actions. Because many times what is expressed and what is actually implemented don't necessarily match up. So for double loop learning, it occurs when a new solution to a problem is created and implemented effectively. Double loop learning is more relevant for complex, non-programmable issues, and really kind of drives the future of an organization. So double loop learning actions control the long range effectiveness and the destiny of a system. So significant changes in an organization require changes to governing variables, and that's why double loop learning actions are so important. Sometimes this can be difficult for skilled professionals because highly skilled professionals are good at what they do, and they most of the time they succeed. And double loop learning requires learning from failure, and it is much more a reflection of how people think rather than how they feel. You know, it's the cognitive rules and the reasoning that they use to design and implement their actions.
Hello everyone, my name is Nate and we're going to talk about single loop versus double loop learning in this slide. Hello everyone, my name is Nate and we're going to talk about single loop versus double loop learning in this slide. Single loop learning is the techniques in making techniques more efficient. As you can see in figure 2, it is a cyclical event for single loop learning with actions and results, where the learner adjusts his or her actions based on the outcomes from results. Goals, values, and plans are readjusted each time. Double loop learning involves questioning roles of framing and learning styles. In figure 2, you'll see that similar to single loop learning, double loop learning has actions, results, but then assumptions as well, where the learner readjusts for future learning experiences based on previous learned experiences. The video at the bottom of this slide goes into more detail for single loop versus double loop learning.
The thermostat example is a good way to differentiate between single loop and double loop learning. So whenever an error is detected and corrected without questioning or altering the underlying values of the system, the learning is single loop, right? So a thermostat will be defined as a single loop learner because it's programmed to detect if it's too cold or too hot, and then to correct the situation, it turns the heat or the AC on or off. If the thermostat asks questions as to why it was set to a certain temperature, why it was programmed as it was, then the learning would be considered double loop learning. Thank you for viewing our presentation. To further discussion, we would ask you to respond to one or both of the prompts below in the message board. Thank you.